Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So we decided to do a short little video on some knots that we all use pretty regularly. So this first one, well, I'll tell you, the orange is going to be a monofilament, a fluorocarbon, any sort of clear leader line or anything like that, what have you. The green is going to be our braided line or some other main line that you need to connect a leader to. So this one, this is the first leader knot that I learned. This is the double uni. So we take, about the same length and strands here, and we're gonna lay them together, right? So we'll work with the fluorocarbon end first. Get yourself enough tag there. And then what you're going to do is actually wrap under the braid and over. Okay, so your fluorocarbon is now under the braid, crossed over both the braided here and the fluorocarbon here. So usually it's about 4 or 5 turns in here. You wrap through that loop you just created. Sake of time, I'm just going to do a couple, and then we're going to tighten that a little bit. If I was doing this with real line, it would be, I'd wet the knot. So, and then on the braided end, we're going to do the exact same thing. You can go over, you can go under, it doesn't really matter. But we'll do another 2 here. So that's what it should look like before you pull it tight, and then it'll kind of come together. So from here you've got your fluoro knot and you got your braid knot. So all we're going to do, you'd obviously wet this, but you're just going to pull the 2 main lines, and bam, you've got a fluoro to braid, mono to braid, whatever connection knot. So that's a good one. Sticking with the connection knots, again, I've got my mono or fluoro here, my braided here. I've called this one an RP knot. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but this has become my favorite leader knot. So it's not gonna look perfect with the rope I've got here, because it won't cinch down quite enough, but I'll show you how to tie it. And then once you do it with like a 10-pound fluoro or a 8-pound fluoro, it'll look good. So first thing I'm gonna do, double over my leader. Okay, you're gonna want a pretty long section for this. I'll show you why here in a second. So we're gonna create a loop, okay, and from here I take my braided, I'm going to put it through the loop and give us a nice tag in there. But one of the most important parts, I take my middle finger or my ring finger and put it through that loop, so I know which way that braid went through the first time, because I'll have to put it the opposite way back when I come down the knot. So I kind of grip the braid with my pinky finger here, just so it doesn't slip on me. And from here, we're going to wrap around the fluorocarbon. So I'm going to do 2 wraps, and then what you do from here, typically you do 6 to 9 wraps up, and then you pinch, and another 6 to 9 wraps down the knot as well. So now this is all tight. I'm gonna go, like I said earlier, we're gonna take this and go back through the opposite way we came. So just like that. Now I can release the knot, and we're gonna pull all of this at the same time. Now, like I said, it's not gonna slide the smoothest with this with the rope I've got, but yeah, that's similar to how it should look. It's not perfect. You know, it'll have a ton more wraps, but it will be very thin. That's the key with this knot, is it comes through the guides like nothing. So, and on that note, we have our tag ends, just like on the double uni knot. You're going to trim those, I like to say about 1/8 of an inch from the knot, because when your knot gets tight, then it'll actually pull a little bit. So if you cut them real close, that you have a possibility of that tag end pulling out and unraveling your knot. So there is the knot I tie for my leaders. Okay, so now we're gonna go straight to a lure. So this eye bolt here is our lure. I'm gonna double over my fluorocarbon, go through the eye bolt, and one of the most important parts is that you don't cross your leader here, or your main line, because with fluoro or monofilament, it will dig into itself and cause knot failure. So from here, I'm going to pinch them together. We're gonna wrap around my index finger. I'm gonna kind of hold that in place. I'm really gonna go around all 4 strands coming up from the eye bolt. Okay, so I'm gonna do 1 full wrap. I do about 3 or 4, depending on my line size. And then from here, I take where I just had my index finger and I go back through that loop. Okay, so now this may look weird because you're thinking, hey, you got a loop and a tag end. Well, from this point, I'm gonna pull this tight while wetting it using fluorocarbon. Make sure you wet the line. So you're gonna cinch that down till that loop gets tight, and then you're actually going to trim off 3 total tag ends. So you're going to trim that one, and you're going to trim the loop right about there, like we were talking about 1/8 of an inch. So that is that's a knot I learned in Mexico for fishing for those big El Salto bass. The guide taught me that one, and it proved effective for 8, 9, 10 pounders. So I brought it back home here. All right, everybody. So that was 3 knots. We're gonna do a few more in another video series, so keep an eye on that. As always, I appreciate the support, and I'm Colton. See you next time.